from the legends of memory and storage. Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming. Legendary products. Precision engineered. For speed and stability. Crucial Ballistix.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Tec Gauntlet Season 3 powered by Ballistix and Crucials, and our apparel partners are none other than 656. We are back with day number 1 of the group stages, and I'm really excited for this one, my guys. It's going to be your boy Aggressive as the host this time around. It's going to be Floki coming on down through on my left and Universe on my right. These guys are going to be excited. These guys are already looking really clean and fly with all of the apparel from 656. Make sure to check all the links down below in the description if you want to get yourself a fan shirt as well. But first initial matches of the day, it's going to be an intense one for sure. So let's head on over into today's fixtures and see exactly which of these teams are going to be fighting it off against one another. And Floki, my man, right off the get-go, this is a game that we really wanted to see. And we're starting off season number 3 with a bang.
Absolutely. We've all heard the word around the campfire, the Enigma roster shuffles. We've all seen it, but we really want to see it in action. We want to see what these guys can do. A lot of stellar names on that roster. And of course, the fabled Velocity Gaming, the winners of Season 2, the champions, the kings, the throne masters. These guys are the ones you want to take down if you're looking to make a name for yourself over here. But hey, there's a reason they have that throne. It's because they're really, really good at Valorant. And when it comes down to other Indian teams trying to beat them, there's only a few that can even stand a chance to compete and give them a run for their money.
It's going to be a really difficult one when you consider that Enigma as a roster, they had a couple of shifts here and there. They're not really in the best of states that I would personally say. They are still trying to work out the kinks, especially with the recent additions of Antidote, RVK, and of course Rexy coming on down through on the roster. We're going to be talking a lot more about that later, but at the very beginning, let's head on down over towards the brackets and see exactly what the teams are looking like, who's going to be on towards the side of Group A, just to get a visual representation of where these teams stand and how things are going to be looking moving on down. And Universe, you're there with us when it came. You were not there with us, sorry, when it came down to the group stages being drawn out. But we have seen the teams, and you can see that Group A, it's a little bit mellow. You'll see a lot of new kids around the block, and of course, the big names of Velocity, Reckoning, and Enigma being there. Give me your thoughts, man. Do you think that Group A is going to be a little bit spicy, or will it be really simple?
I mean, if you look at the entire situation of Group A, you really are going to expect, okay, you know what, you got new names, you got Salt Esports, you got Only Friends, you got the addition of Weird Esports as well. While the rest of the names have been there. Reckoning, they had a pretty good, debut season. They made it so far into the lower bracket as well. But hey, it was just not enough. But they still gave it their all. We could see a team that has really grown into, this really tightly knit unit that worked very well in the way that they functioned as a team against the big dogs as well. Salt Esports, all the way from the neighboring country of Pakistan, has been a competitor that we've seen in other tournaments. We have seen them face off against Global. We have seen them face off against Velocity. We have seen them face off against Enigma. And they have been a pretty great team as well. And it's going to be interesting now that they're even in the, this competition in the Tec Gauntlet. So it only makes things more interesting. This entire group does have, some hard hitters, I feel. Not as great as Group B, I believe. I think Group B, pretty much every single team over there is, somebody that's going to probably take down a big team or is a big team in themselves. So, Group A definitely has, I think, Enigma Salt, Velocity, and Only Friends Reckoning. I think apart from Sus Squad and FS, everybody here has something to talk about, something to say about themselves, because we've seen Sus Squad has struggled in the last 2 seasons they've played. We've seen FS Esports have barely managed to keep on, onto their survival boots. So yeah, it is going to be, I think, more difficult for them because looking at the side of things right now, Sus Squad and FS will again probably have another difficult season because some teams might have gone, but other teams came in that are just as good.
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult when you consider a lot of the things that are happening here. Group A is kind of shrouded in a lot of mystery in the sense that we don't really know what the teams are capable of. They have gone through a lot of different changes. They have scrimmed a lot. They had a lot of time to practice because you need to remember that's Sus Squad and FS. They were not here in the playoffs. So in a way, they should have been able to go back to the drawing board, work out a lot of the problems that they are facing, and come on back even stronger moving on down the line. I'm really hoping that in season number 3, they're going to be able to prove themselves and showcase to us exactly what they have been working on throughout the entirety of the break that they did have. But we're going to talk a lot more about those teams later. First of all, let's talk about the Kings themselves as we head on down over on towards the team spotlight for the side of Velocity Gaming, ladies and gentlemen. And honestly, these guys, they don't need an introduction. They're the winners of season number 1. They're the winners of season number 2. And they're now here once again to try and pull off a hat trick. Like, come on, Floki. Do they need an introduction? But at the same time, we got to do it anyways.
I mean, absolutely. I just have to ask my viewers one question. Look at every name on this roster. Have you not actually heard of it before if you've been a fan of the tactical FPS genre? No, there's no way. If you've been following the Indian scene, you know exactly who these guys are. And that says a lot. 5 superstars who mesh really, really well together and are able to demolish any team that stands on their way. We saw that last season. We saw that the season before. And I'm quite sure we're going to see something similar this season too. But this does not mean that they are as invulnerable as we might like to think. In fact, we did have some teams take games off of them during the group stages itself. I remember Team VALOR actually taking a game off of Velocity, and I'm pretty sure that Velocity are going to know that there are chinks in their armor, so they are not as strong as they once thought they were. And I'm hoping that has actually given them the reason to buckle down and grind a little bit harder and just work out on their games, just to make sure that every single time they step up to these teams who are looking to dethrone them, they really give them a run for their money. Like they really have to pull a rabbit out of the hat to try and take a game off of them. Because I feel like Velocity at this rate is slowly being chipped away at. And with these new teams coming into the mix, I mean, they're going to have, senior wars, they're going to have senior demos and stuff, and they are going to have an idea of how you like to play. So if they don't change things up for the upcoming season, especially with the addition of the new map Fracture, yeah, you could be in a bit of a pickle if you're Velocity Gaming. But then again,
don't tease the audience with the Fracture thing yet. We're not even at the bad veto.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, with the addition of Fracture, this is going to be very, very interesting because, yeah, I mean, just that map is insane. I still don't know how to play that myself. I'm pretty sure pro teams have figured out something or the other, but it's still not set in stone. So, you could see a few teams here and there take a map off of them or maybe even take a game off of them. And I think that's what Velocity have to be careful about against some of these newer teams like Only Friends and Salt Esports and whatnot.
It's going to be a difficult one. But at the same time, I think you guys heard about the newest addition to Velocity as well. Or haven't you actually heard about it? They got themselves a puppy, man. They got the puppy power on their side. Yeah, they actually got themselves a puppy. I remember going on to Deathmaker's stream and they had a new puppy and Marcel and Amadarasu were playing with it in the background. Everyone in the chat just went wild. So hey, if you have a puppy on your side, Velocity, come on, man. You guys need to win this. Win it not for the fans only, win it for the puppy as well in the background. So Velocity, their stage has been set. They're going to be ready. And they, just as Loki stated, they need to try a little bit harder. They're a team that a lot of the other lower caliber teams are trying to reach for. They are the team that everyone is trying to take down a couple of pegs and knock them out with a 1-2 punch. But thing is, it's just not going to be as easy. And will the side of Enigma be able to step up to the plate is going to be the real question as we head on down over onto their team spotlight, ladies and gentlemen, to see exactly what they're going to be cooking up for us. Because in a way, Enigma, I kind of understand what they're trying to employ. They want to try and use their surprise factor to the best of their own abilities. With this new roster on their side here, Universe, with RVK, Antidote, and Rexy coming on down through, it can work. It really can, but at the same time, I don't really know how they're going to be playing this. Because before we always said that Enigma, they were an unknown quantity where you don't really know what they're going to be planning because of their wacky strategies. Are they still going to be employing something wacky or are they going to be going back to something a little bit more mellow? I want your thoughts on that.
I think that, with the addition of these three new players, you can see RVK, Antidote, and Rexy. These guys are, they're really stoned down to the ground kind of players. I think, except for Antidote, because he can switch in and out of roles with that jet, which, I mean, Rafiel's probably going to be doing that for obvious reasons, but, he's more versatile. RVK is the kind of the backbone, and Rexy, he's like the nervous system. He controls the entire team's information, runs it up and down throughout his entire team, helps out anybody needed. This is a team that clearly has potential. With the entire shift that they went through, last season, where High on Life was, forced to play in the last bit of the season in the playoffs, and they even beat Global Esports back then. So yeah, this is a team that I think after their entire shift has become pretty good. I think. I mean, it's new. It's not really something that they're used to, right? They stuck as the old Enigma for quite a while, and they had a pretty good time doing that. They were among the top 5, if not among the top 3. Constantly beating Velocity at times, beating Global at times is not an easy job, and that clearly shows that you are, among those top 3, if not top 5 teams, right? So now that they have a new roster in which 3 of them have been changed, so could take a little time, I believe, for them to settle into what exactly they want to do. Might not be, their best of chances against playing Velocity in the very first match of the season, but we're gonna have to see what they throw on the plate, because I mean, this could go a 2-0, but chances are mostly this is a 3-map game.
If it does go to 3 maps, man, I'm gonna be really excited. And ladies and gentlemen, I know for a fact you're gonna ask me, why am I really excited? Yeah, as a caster, I really do want 3 maps because we want as much action as possible to break down here on the analyst desk again. But I think that you're gonna be surprised as we head on down over on towards the map video screen, ladies and gentlemen, because you can already see Floki's smile. He's giving that sinister smile because Fracture is gonna be the disciple. Initially, it's Ascend, then it's Breeze, a map that we all hate and love at the same time. And then it's Fracture, a place where it's full of mixed feelings, just like me after my first initial breakdown.
Yeah,
Look.
I mean, I feel like this entire veto is just a mixed bag, right? You got your old reliable, the Ascent, the girl you've recognized, you've been around for a long time. You've got the Crazy X, that's Breeze. You love to hate her, you hate to love her, and then there's Fracture. You don't know what to expect. You walk into that thing, you have no idea how it's gonna go. But at the end of the day, if you have a couple of ideas on how to tackle, the situation that you're gonna encounter on that map, maybe you could walk away with a win or two unexpectedly. And really, what excites me about Fracture is the fact that there's going to be so many different philosophies on this map, right? We've seen a lot of different things happen, at least in our pubs. I've seen lineups work with no smokers. I've seen lineups work with multiple controllers and multiple smokers. I've seen double initiators. I've seen a 3 duelist comp win on this map. So, I mean, really, everything is just sort of I don't even know how to say it. I mean, everything is just up in the air for Fracture right now. We really don't know what's going to work and what's not. And which is why I'm very excited for this map, because I feel like the newer teams, when you're going up against someone who is experienced, you are on a level playing field now. You've got a new map. It's a new start. You can work on it as a team and make that your strength. Make it so that other teams, they're forced to ban this map out against you. And in a way, they're forced to respect you. And that's why I really enjoy just watching all these new maps come into play, because at the end of the day, if you're a new team, this is the best opportunity that you're going to have to try and take the win against the top dogs. And the top dogs are smart, which is why this map is the decider. This is not the second map or the first map. This is the decider map, and it's for a reason. Because Velocity know that if they go on this map, they are going to be winging it. I don't think they're going to have a lot of things set in stone for this map just yet.
It's going to be a difficult one indeed, because in a way, the first initial map being picked up by Enigma and that being Ascend is not something that we know them for. Ascent is a map that they almost never pick up. It's either Icebox or Breeze, and that's the thing that they normally do pick up. But Ascent, with the new roster changes, it's understandable. They want to go for something a little bit more comfortable. They want to test the waters against Velocity before they go in for any sort of a hyper-aggressive or maybe go in for a couple of wacky plays of their own. They're straight up trying to test the waters here. But Universe, do you have any more closing thoughts on this map, the screen, before we jump on down onto the game?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't really expecting to see Fracture in the very first match of the season, but it's still a decider, so we might not see it. But I really, really hope that we get to see. I just want to see what kind of compositions are going to be coming in, who's going to be playing what. It gives us a sneak peek into how exactly teams have been taking on to this map, you know, how exactly they're going to be preparing for it. Is it going to be dual controller? Is it going to be initiator based? Is it going to be, you know, I don't know, triple duelist for all we care? And who the hell knows what's going to work on this map? Well, we're going to have to wait and see who sets the meta. And yeah, I mean, we're going to start off pretty smooth and slow. We're going to start on ascent, ground zero, and then we take a huge jump to a point where we really didn't, not a lot of people like that map. And now we're going to take a higher, even more jump to another map, which people, you know, it's always that
love and hate
hatred.
relationship.
Yeah. There's always that hatred for every single player who plays Valorant. There's a new map which comes in. I mean, I don't know how many times you've seen it, but I've seen that Alt F4 button hit more than I can count every time Fracture is being queued on. Even if it's unrated, people, you know what? Yeah, Fracture, no, I'm out of here. But these pros, unfortunately, cannot do that. They're stuck with this. So they're going to have to move around that, you know, maze of spawning in the center of the map as defenders, spawning in two corners of the map as attackers. I mean, that map's crazy, dude. We're going to have to see what happens.
I mean,
Yeah,
just to
new
add
maps.
on to,
Hey,
what
you were saying,
Universe has been, yeah, I mean, just to add on to what Universe has been saying, right? Fracture is kind of an insane map, right? It is so big, you have to be very dynamic while you're playing it. So it does favor the sort of more independent play style where you go around the map, you know, you try to cover as much ground as possible because it allows you to narrow down that threat and just pinpoint exactly where the attack is going to come in from. So it really requires you to pick agents that are a bit more flexible. So going by that logic, I wouldn't be too surprised to see a lot more initiators in the fray. Because the more information you have, the better your chances are going to be of holding on as well as, you know, attacking, right? So, yeah, I just feel like double initiator comps are probably going to be the name of the game. Although, you know, double controllers could also see the mix because it does allow for a very strong defense on this map.
What about double controllers and double initiators? Because you know for a fact that Viper can act as a pseudo sentinel almost all the time.
Yep.
If you place a Viper down on towards that B side, there's no way they're going to be able to enter the B side without getting delayed for a solid 1 minute if you play it perfectly. And at the bare minimum of 30 seconds, like, of course, it's going to be a 30-second stall no matter what happens. And the Viper can hold both sidelines and also hold another one while being completely safe. There's a lot of different options that you have whenever you're playing down towards that B side. And in this situation, I do believe that having a Viper and an Omen or a Viper and a Brimstone even, Brimstone is a really strong character in this map in particular. I really do want to highlight it. I really do want to do a lot of the breakdowns as well, because I've been going into the nitty-gritty of this map quite a lot. I pretty much no-live this entire map as soon as it came out and the queues were just for it. But for now, we're going to be talking a lot more about that later after, if we do head on down over onto the Decider map. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, that's all that we have for tonight. Now, on the analyst desk, I know for a fact that you all are getting antsy back at home, so I'm going to be sending these two down over towards the caster desk, and I'm going to be heading on down myself, and we're going to be back with the reveal shortly with the LG Ultragear Tec Gauntlet Season 3 powered by Ballistix and Crucial, and our fellow partners are going to be none other than 656 after a short message from our sponsors.
From the legends of memory and storage, Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming. Legendary products, precision engineered for speed and stability. Crucial Ballistix.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to LG Ultragear presents the Esports Club Gauntlet Season 3, powered by Ballistix and Crucial, and of course our apparel partner 656. My name is Floki. Joining me for this one is going to be Universe. Universe, a hype match to start off the third season. Velocity going up against the side of Enigma. This is, I have to say, if there was a better way to start this Season 3, I think we'd be seeing that, but I think this is the best there is. I think it's the best possible match we could have asked for right on the get-go, just absolutely stacked, I have to say. This entire season, we've seen a lot of familiar faces return. We're seeing a lot of players come back. And on top of that, some old veterans are also returning to the scene, over on Group B. So that is also going to be super interesting to catch. But yeah, for now, we have Velocity going up against Enigma. Enigma's, of course, had the roster shuffle. Do you think that having that roster shuffle this early on is probably going to affect how they play? Or do you think that the fact that they've practiced probably over the course of the last season is going to help them out against Velocity?
I'm not quite sure because Enigma, I mean, they did have time, I believe, because, we know that the roster shuffles happened early on last season itself. But hey, we're going to have to just dive into the game and find out, Floki, because we've got Enigma already locking up their agents. And you can see, guys, we've got VALOR on the server today. No Amaterasu. He's taking a little bit of a chopo as we've got the younger gen of VLT taking over. Apart from Right to Ace, the only guy with experience. I think he's going to be leading the IGL role today, as much as I would like to believe it. So he's locked in that Sova, Helaf with that Astra, as we always see him play. The board teasing with the Reyna first, and then he went for the KO, and he's going to lock in that Sky. On the other side of things, we've got Raw Fuel, Rexy, Antidote with their... Oh, wait, Antidote's actually playing the controller role. Okay.
That is new. I was not expecting that coming out from Antidote.
All right. I mean, I've usually seen him play the Sage. Whenever it is Ascent, he's usually on that A-short position with, Rexy playing that Killjoy. Rexy plays the Killjoy when they were playing, for Godlike. And, they had that set up towards A-short and they were pretty good. But it looks like Enigma have a little bit of a change coming in, ladies and gentlemen. We've got Antidote on the Astra, something new, something that we're gonna probably love to see. Hika going in for the Sky, RVK with that Killjoy, so Rexy can rest easy on the Sova. He's back to his Sova main, and he's gonna have some fun. And unfortunately, I think my friend Floki has left me all alone over here. So, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, we can. You're back. He's back. Yeah, Floki's back. Let's go. All right. I got. I saw half your head, and I'm like, okay, he's.
Yeah.
What?
I was just sneaking around here, just having a look, But I'm back now, and so is the game. Let's actually just jump straight into the game and see what's happening, because I'm quite sure, sort of seeing our two lovely faces, you would rather see the game. And I wouldn't debate you on that. So far, we only have one player cam for the side of Enigma. It's only RVK. But, if you've been keeping up with Enigma, you'd be quite happy to see this man switching his cam on. Because, he's been doing some of the more social media stuff, hasn't he, for the side of Enigma?
Yep, RVK. The pretty camera boy now he is, He's been having fun with Enigma's Instagram handle. But you know where else you can have fun? On the Instagram handle of the TEC. You guys go ahead and check out all of the highlights that are being put up over there of the past few seasons and for the matches to come. We're going to be diving into the game now to catch some more highlights, Floki, as Velocity on the defense have got pretty much their usual setup, except for the fact that we have VALOR playing today as the Sky. So it might make a difference. We're going to have to wait and see. Amaterasu's absence, could be something that Enigma could take advantage of. But, I mean, I'm not quite sure, because Enigma themselves are pretty bit, they're a fresh new sapling that's been put in the ground, and they haven't grown too much yet. So are they going to be able to face off a big banyan tree like Velocity? I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's really experience versus, young blood. And look at the plate that is coming out here from the side of Enigma. They're actually trying to go for a fast A push of sorts. Gonna be Hika with the Wolf trying to scout things out. Nice one way from Hellfighter. His spots are 3D backs off. That's very important. A lot of information being taken up over here. But REK on the flank did find the board, but got traded out. Seems like VLT are aware of the man's tricks, but Raw Fuel straight into the side with the Astral, with the Cloud Burst, Jesus, coming through. is going to be able to get control, and it looks like VLT are not going to contest this. They have the man advantage, or at least they did for a while, but they're going to just try and play this on retake.
Okay,
Waiting
Mars.
for Marzel to be activated as he finds that
Spike
loot for
planted.
free, and that's a very important aspect that he's taken out. Hika gets the blind going, but not really peeking on the back of that. Very, very disciplined approach. Realizes it's 3v4, and right to ace is going to
One
find
enemy
Rexy.
remaining.
There's just one player staying alive, and it's good old Raw Fuel alone, but it's good for one. Great things on Deathmaker, but at the end of the day, cleanup comes through from Velocity, and they're going to be able to claim the very first round.
You fail. Now
It is really, really great to see how Velocity have not really lost their touch. They are still disciplined the way they play. And, you know, they just held on their ground. And Marzo, he was so confident about the fact sitting in that B link area that somebody's going to come into A short, right? And he waited. And Antidote walked straight into his crosshairs without even expecting anybody to be there. And Helef, he knew that he might have somebody peek on him, but he still held his ground because he knew right to ace is right around the corner to help him out. The way these two came out, got the kills, was pretty great. Raw Fuel was good enough for Deathmaker, but not more. As Velocity have an advantage with weapons, and they're already setting up base to go in towards B. Deathmaker will find one kill. Blinded RVK, not going to be able to do much with his Sheriff. And now the rest of the players in the Enigma are getting cleaned up by the Jetmate himself and the Boar as
One
well.
enemy remaining.
An easy peasy round for Velocity. Nothing much that, you know, we could have expected Enigma to do in here. One kill for Antidote. No, it's not going to happen. It's going to be right to ace to clean it up. And I mean, the default strategy, right? Textbook Valorant, second round, you win it. It's just, it goes your way.
Absolutely, and they didn't even take a single point of damage, by the way, except for right to ace. So they're gonna all have shields up and running. You know, they don't need to refresh that. It's a lot of money saved, actually. You know, a lot of the times you will be able to do some economic damage in the second round, at least force them out to rebuy those shields. And hopefully, you know, if you manage to do get a kill or two, you can even, you know, going into your main buy round, have a bit of an advantage going in with the extra rifles. But this time around, that's not the case. We are going to play out this bonus as usual. But three of the players are running their light shields on Enigma, so the Spectres can be rather fortunate, especially when you double peek it like this. You're going to be able to pick up one kill right off the bat as Deathmaker was able to find Rexy. It did cost the life of right to ace. That's okay. No, sorry, it was Vapor actually playing the Sky there. I'm not used to seeing Vapor play that Sky. It's still a little unusual, but I do forget that Marzel is the dedicated Sentinel player now, so see what they decide to do in this round. I like the slower approach coming out from Enigma, you know, just feeling out the defense on the side of VLT. But VLT are a disciplined team, right? They know it's still an even situation, and because the Killjoy is up and running, they don't really need to make plays around the map.
Exactly. RVK is covering up some ground. Maybe wants that ultimate orb, but chooses against it. Not really want to give out too much of a, you know, disadvantage to his team. Ika clears out most of mid, except for the one position where Marzel's sitting in. High up on mid. But Enigma are actually not going there. They're going towards A. Rawfield, the man to clear out every single corner that he has to move into first. Helef, we've seen him play behind these green boxes multiple times and needs to defend it again. He can hear them on the side and he needs to be really careful. Gets the first kill, unsuspecting the second as well. Helef digs the
My
and
God.
gets it. Helef!
Absolute beast. This man,
10
nothing
seconds
to stop him. Now Hika is alone. Could have lined them up, got them low too, but in the end, the double Spectres, they just reign supreme. And I have to say, I love the approach coming in from VLT. Yeah, they took the fight to them early on. The Killjoy was still alive, so they don't really have to make plays on the map. And once you have that extra information, knowing that, okay, you know, we took care of A, they're probably playing towards mid instead, you can just let the Killjoy do all the work. I mean, they had to walk into the side. Hellfighter was not spotted. He peeks off the Spectre and destroys them. And this is why I say, you know, it's important to have those heavy shields up and running in that round. It gives you that extra survivability you need against the bonus players. Now look at the money on Velocity. It is absolutely insane. 4 of the players have more than 4,000 creds, and it's only going to get better from here, unless Enigma can pull off a miracle.
Wabor immediately shuts down that miracle by Hika going down. And Helef is definitely going to get a kill here. Yep, he will. The Boar's coming to his support. They know that Rawfuel's climbed into the side, but Helef's going to make short work of him. RVK with the Sheriff might find one, but he's just not as quick to turn around and give a 180 to Marzel. If he had, though, that would have been a miracle. But Rexy has been left all alone. Oh, he's been... Wait, did he get spotted? Yeah.
He didn't get spotted.
I thought he was spotted out, but yeah, he's been taken out, and it's gonna be even pistols upgraded for Velocity. They're gonna have good weapons, good pistols. Everything's working for them. Armor not too damaged either, and they could have easily gone in for a rebuy, which Deathmaker has got the operator in his hands in the form of a rebuy. So Velocity, good positioning in the early stages of the game. 4-0 up. Three of their players haven't even died yet. So, I mean, I love this. Velocity, discipline is the name of the game right now.
Absolutely, and I hate to be the one to say this, but I do think Velocity are running away with the game right now. And Enigma, they need to change things up if they want to try and make a dent over here. Right to ace, good shock darts early on. You know, they can sometimes net you a little bit of damage. That recon dart is actually going to end up revealing Raw Fuel, who's actually banking on that to maybe try and find a pick. Deathmaker is only going to be lethally damaging the turret, and that is a lot of information being given up here on the side of Enigma. They most certainly now have to make this move into the B side as they can start coming in. The Nano Swarm is going to be there to start to separate Rocky from the rest of his team. The Flash is coming as well. The Concuss is coming too. Rocky's getting bullied. He's getting absolutely bullied. Wedgies all around. Velocity taking a clean up. Big guy breaks to get taken out. Rocky, all that pulling is finally going to end. And in the end, there's only antidote to try and clutch this out. And Hellfight is not done with him either. The gravity well to come through, to pull him off. The reveal's gonna come through as well. Ah, boy. Enigma. That was a spanking of the highest orders. I don't think I've ever seen any team bully their opponents that much before finally, you know, making them submit. And once again, it's gonna be down to brass tacks here for the side of Enigma. They're gonna be down to sheriffs again.
Raw Fuel. My guy, are you okay? Because I really need to know. He got blinded, he got concussed, he got pulled into the gravity well, if not anything. Then he got flashed again, and then even though he tried walking to the side, Vibor comes out from the smoke and blows his head clean off before he could do anything. The fact that Raw Fuel survived for so long was a testament to glory, but it just ended up being called to Satan this time, though. Deathmaker could not get the call to stage. Fourth side of Enigma, but it's gonna be Vibor and Hell have to give it.
Spike down.
3 players stacked towards A main pays off its dividends as they've got 3 players down pretty easily. Marzo finds RVK lurking around towards mid, and the last player standing might just find a little bit of damage, Rexy, but he's not gonna find the kill. It's gonna be the side of Velocity with round number 6, and Loki, didn't we just start this match?
Yeah, we just did, but it already feels like it's about to be over. I mean, the money on Velocity is absolutely mind-boggling. And I have to say, you know, I really haven't seen anyone spray people down with the Vandal before, but Vibor is starting to, you know, just take things to the next level. When you start seeing people spraying with the Vandal in your games, that is when you know the game is getting tough. Nobody ever used that weapon that way. It's the Phantom's job to try and spray and pray, but...
Hey, maybe
I
do.
With the Vandal, yeah, maybe you do, Universe, but that's why you're here on this side of the
Ouch.
game.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, I'm lower than you in rank, so you can always brag about that, but yeah, for the time being, Deathmaker is gonna take that big operator towards the main instead, repeating it. RVK up to his usual antics this time around, getting punished. Raw Fuel really hasn't found a way to leak into mid just yet, as 3 Enigma members scrambling around. That is information being given up as the reload came through. The board is going to be waiting around the corner, spots out 1. The Seekers are at the ready to be used, but he's holding on to them for now. Raw Fuel is looking to push W and enter. And looks like they're actually going to be able to find 2 kills. This might be doable, but look at the HP on right to ace. He is so low. He is most certainly out of this fight. It's going to be a 2v3. About as good as a 2v2 if they do end up finding right to ace, but I know that right to ace is not gonna give them the fight they want.
He just wants the ultimate. He wants to Hunter's Fury, and he's gonna connect it. Antidote goes down to 70 HP, and he's gonna get taken down.
What in the hell?
Right to ace, and this guy's presence of mind is insane. And the only thing now they need is for Raw Fuel to get taken down by Deathmaker. As he will, Deathmaker was just waiting for his teammates to peek out to find the information of the position of Raw Fuel so he could come out from short. And that's all they needed. It doesn't matter how many players Velocity lose at this point. Even if it goes down to a 1v1, their economy is so good. Look at that. Everybody has... Just at the beginning of the round, everybody had about 8 grand, and now they still have 4, which means they have a good enough buy for the next I don't know how many rounds, like maybe 3? Yeah, I don't know.
3 rounds easily. They get
Yeah, because you can see Deathmaker, he's still on 9 grand, by the way.
Yeah,
Marzel's
so he's
gonna have
that
max.
operator twice. He's basically gonna have the access to the operator twice.
Exactly. Not to forget, he already has it in his hands, and he's causing a lot of damage.
Get out of my way.
And everybody on Velocity is actually, every single person is just shutting down Enigma and everything they try. The only real damage they gave was in the last round, but even that was nullified. LF immediately realizing that there's somebody towards A short, throws down his Nebulas, but it's not gonna work because Raphael's actually crossed by, and LF needs to be careful about this. One blade on his forehead could take his life right away, and he's not at all aware about this. He moves back slowly, does not want to give up. He's throwing down his stars, and okay, here we go. Enigma have gotten the A side for free.
I've got
But
your
how long are they
trail.
going to be able to keep it, Floki? Because as soon as the plan goes down, it's going to be a 5v5 retake.
Okay, that's a nice flash. It's gonna allow him to pass through, but the rest of the team is gonna have to make do with the 4v5 because Arby is trying to play the flank. Velocity with the counter toss of the fight coming in. It's gonna allow him to separate this fight and the site as well. They're gonna keep them confined over here, but unfortunately for them, drop fuel. He's gonna have everyone's number, but Hellfighter right
What?
away is the answer right back coming in.
Okay.
And Hellfighter is just doing it big time. Red Steel knows in a 1v2, and right away will clutch it out with the SOA diff towards the end. 8-0 for Velocity. A really dominant performance right off the get-go.
It is over.
I have no words. I have absolutely no words. He even picks up the operator, which means Deathmaker, again, does not need to invest anything except for armor and utility. And yep, finally, never late than ever, we have a timeout coming in, ladies and gentlemen, and Enigma really understood that what they're doing needs to be switched up. You know, the minute I saw this, Floki, you know, I'm pretty sure you had the same thought as I did. Having Antidote on that controller role is definitely not something that's going to work out for them. I mean, you don't see him play it. Sage is something that I'm pretty sure he can. Sage is more, you know, straightforward. You got a wall, you got a slow orb, you got a heal that either heals you or the teammate, and you got to revive. But when it comes to Astra, you've got so much more intricacy, right? You need to know where, you need to have a big brain for that. I'm not saying Antidote doesn't, he does. But I think that he uses his big brain more as a spearhead rather than being the guy who controls the team. Because he plays good as a Sage when he's playing as a Battle Sage. His utility is more straightforward. It allows him to set up himself and defend, you know, pretty one-dimensionally. But in Astra, you need to be able to coordinate with your team all the bloody time. You need to make sure you're talking all the time. You need to know where to place your Astra stars to let your teammates peek out. Smokes come in the right time. All of that takes a lot of, you know, coordination, which I think Antidote, not having the experience for it, is causing Enigma a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a lot similar to Breach in some aspect, right? Because your utility, it is self-sufficient in some cases, but most of the time you're using it to try and help out your team instead. Oh my god, right away, he's just narrowly avoiding that head. The second shock dart is also going to come through, and for the time being, they're all life. Deathmaker's actually found RVK, but Raw Fuel actually gets that big on with burst. He's going to open things up on the side. He's even going to find Deathmaker. The operator being taken off the SOAS right away. The man with the Odin, the big gun trying to hold on, but he ADS at the wrong time and Raw Fuel cleans up. Going absolutely insane, and Hellfighter shuts him down, but it just might be too little too late. Antidote.
Oh,
The
Martha.
counter coming in to shed.
One enemy
Missing,
remaining.
but in the end, he will land the shots and get the kill, and that's what matters. Hellfighter now in a 1v3. He's pulled off clutches before. He knows that there's only potentially 2 players on this side, and he needs to take this fight right here, right now, but they're delaying. Nice flash coming in from Hika. It's gonna be a thrifty round coming through for the side of Enigma. That timeout working out well for them.
Finally, that timeout looks like it paid off. Letting Antidote work on his lurker role has given them a little bit of dividends. If Marza wouldn't have been taken out over there, I think Velocity would have had a better time in that retake, because Marzel and Helef both have looked pretty great today. Helef in particular. 12-3 that guy is, by the way. He's just absolutely crazy right now. Having a time of his life. And Velocity are just, you know, riding on the back of that momentum. And now again towards this A main aggressive positioning we go. Helef crawled into that wine area, and now it's time for Hika to try and clear it out. They have an idea that Helef is down there. as Vibor is waiting with the splash, and here comes Concuss on both sides. Gravity well as well. Lot of utility being exchanged between the two Astras over here, as well as the Skies. And Rafi was trying to find some success on the back of it. Not gonna be easy though. Oh, but LF makes it easy for himself. He takes down Hika, and now he's stuck. He's got a lot of players coming into this position, and that shock dart is good enough for the kill. 4v4, Enigma still in the game.
Absolutely, but
You should run.
do need to play this out a little bit cautiously. RBK's ult is gonna help them get to the site, but Deathmaker is still activated. That operator is still up and running. Deathmaker being Deathmaker is gonna try to get a pick. Well, there you go, he spots out Rafi and he's done his job, but even though he is detained, they have a shot, but before it gets taken out here,
Revealing
they have
area.
to wait until Deathmaker gets undetained, I guess, so that he can come back and be
30
off
seconds
side.
left.
And now, looks like he is back up and running. Marshall waiting around in the flank from the shadows, takes out the spike, gets out
Wow.
of the top it
Beautiful.
all off, and Deathmaker cleans up RVK. VLT, doesn't matter if they're against the lockdown, doesn't matter if they're against the cosmic divide, they know how to play against all of those ultimates. My goodness, VLT, this is rather one-sided. It is reminiscent of the first season where they were completely demolishing any team that stood in their way. And yeah, I think they just taken it up a notch, haven't they?
They most certainly have. Velocity start off the season with a bang. They want to win and they want it bad. That's exactly what they're getting so far on the map of Ascent. Right to Ace, damaging with that shock dart. I don't think there's much that the players of Enigma can do over here. All right, to Ace almost had a bullet to his head. RVK lurked up close, but no cigar. Close, but no cigar. Raw fuel though. They just find the jump on Deathmaker. Does not really have anybody to support it, but he still gets the kill. Deathmaker, crazy, goes for the fourth with the knife out. The ace is not gonna come in, but it's gonna be right to Ace. I mean, that's sort of a compensation, right? He's got the ace in his name, so.
Last
Yeah.
round before the switch.
I mean, you know, this has been the story of Deathmaker's
Need
life.
to drop.
How many
Thanks.
times have we seen him get a full kit that does not translate into an ace? A lot of times. I mean, I can recall 3 on the top of my head just from the playoffs alone.
I mean, the
Yeah.
last season's playoffs were crazy. Enigma, they had their own set
sure
of problems. They had their own set of things to deal with. But coming into this season, I really thought we're gonna see a new, completely rejuvenated Enigma. But
Concealment.
clearly they've not thought Ascent through, have they? Their composition kind of give them a little bit of trouble. Or I don't know what it is actually. Even if Antidote is having a good time, I really don't think Enigma as a team are able to perform, are they?
Yeah, it feels like Enigma certainly are having some issues.
Placing
Of
sentry.
sorts. I mean, this is really an indicator of something deeper. This is a deeper rooted problem. This is not just something to do with the map. I feel like they could have potentially done better. It would look a lot closer, but they haven't even been getting that many kills, right? It's just been raw fuel doing most of the work, and then occasionally, sometimes you'll see RV get an antidote or Rexy get a kill. And that's about it. I mean, everyone else on the side of Velocity, they've been doing the job rather well. And sure, Mazel and Vibor, they're sitting in the single-digit number, but at the end of the day, all their frags have had impact. Mazel just last round itself, he was able to clutch it out, make a 3v2, a 3v1, and then his team was able to finish that job. I just haven't seen
I've got your
anything
trail.
similar
You are
come up for the
divided.
side of Enigma, and that ace side
30
slightly
seconds left.
returning. That is an interesting cosmic divide coming through. It's going to enable them to block. Mazel actually finds raw fuel, and as an Nanostorm to cover his retreat,
Nowhere
counter
to
ult
run!
comes in, but there you go. There's the Hunter Fury coming in offensively to try and take that lockdown away. And Mazel's also going to be tagged up by the
10 seconds left.
RDK is going to find the board. Not a lot of time remaining. The spike is advantage. Quick kill coming out from Rexy, and as a result, the spike will go up with the shockdowns coming through. He's still surviving on 20 HP in a 2v1. However, 2v2 as Deathmaker is going to be able to find Antidote, and now Rexy taking his moves.
Oh, they have no-
The shadows, but Deathmaker knows.
They
An
do have an idea.
absolute unit. His brain, Deathmaker, aware of the only possibility that Rexy had in that situation. And you can see Antidote lays out the GH and
Switching
all chat,
sides.
but has it really been a good half? Not for Enigma.
I mean, Velocity can say it's a good half. I mean, for sure. Good, great half for Velocity. Not so great for Enigma. It's just one round, the one round that only came on the back of a timeout that they took, and that worked out. But I mean, usually timeouts try to shift the momentum, but clearly I don't see it happening. And if Velocity win this pistol, Floki, it's done. It's over. We just got to move on to Breeze, and that's another story where Velocity are just as dominant as any other team.
Yeah, they most certainly are, but for the time being, we'll see if Velocity are actually, gonna concede a single round or not. And well, Rafiel's gonna open things up. He's gonna find the ball. It's a very important agent being taken out. That is their offensive potential out of the window. They're gonna be relying on smokes and Deathmaker, and Deathmaker delivers. He's found RVK, a crucial member for the side of Enigma. Gets spotted in the corner, has a close, the shot not coming through, but he's still surviving somehow. Deathmaker's found Rafiel. The second pick to work, and no, ready to people towards me. They're gonna make their way towards A. No, doesn't even matter. They clean everyone up. What the hell did I just see?
I have no idea,
Match
Floki. I'm
point.
just as perplexed as you are.
Deathmaker found 2 picks. They saw 2 people on B, and then I thought they would go to A, but they all died.
Yeah, I really thought as soon as Vibor went down, I thought, okay, you know what, Velocity, they might just lose this pistol. We're going to probably see a 12-3, maybe 11-3 or 11-4 come in, but then I really did not understand one thing. Why did Enigma have to push in after they got that first kill? They could have just held their ground. They had man advantage, right? They could have just waited, and they could have just, played out their ground. They could have waited for Velocity to come to them, because
Taking that back.
Velocity are in the attack, not Enigma. And now they're gonna have to pay the price for it, because Velocity have weapons for every single maneuver that they want to execute. And with this force buy from Enigma, I think it's gonna be that great. But Rafiel still makes it work, okay. Man advantage. But still need to be careful. Velocity are not done with this.
They most certainly are, but they are rather low on HP, and look at that. Hellfighter is going to cover his teammate, but the board did get taken out at the end of the day, so let's 3v4. And Enigma, they really need to win this one if they want to stay on this map. Moving on to Breeze. Breeze can be a tough one to play against if you are against Velocity. They did play it last season too, and because the roster has stuck around for quite a while, they are going to have ideas on how to play this map when they get caught in unfamiliar situations. Deathmaker, in the meantime, though, this is a very potent lurk towards mid. It is going to go unchecked, and if he's actually able to find Hiccup going all the way around, it could be big. You do have Rexy watching the flank, though, so it's not going to be as
30
easy.
seconds
but
left.
finding the skill could open things up for Velocity here. Oh my god, the worst possible timing for Rexy. And look at that Rafiel. He's going to be able to clean up that. He's going to find 3 for himself. Leaves just one man to the job, and that's right, Joyce, who gets cleaned up by RVK. Enigma, they survive for another round, and they win an important round, the second one. But the issue is they're not going to have money to buy up rifles in this one. And if they buy Spectres, then they are going to be forced to play the bonus in the next round. So economically, they are kind of screwed. And VLT, they can just eco this one out and, play it in a disciplined fashion.
Yep. And Eco is really not going to throw Velocity Gaming off their game, because they've been at the top of it for the entire match so far. 0-2 is a scoreline that Enigma, I mean, they're not that unfamiliar with this. We've seen them make comebacks happen of the greatest order from this very scorelines, but Velocity is a whole other machine of itself, and Deathmaker right now is at the forefront of it. Gets a beautiful shot. Takes down RVK. That's one possibility of danger eliminated. And Rexy, almost giving up his life, takes down Marzo.
Blocking vision.
He's down very low. Although he's getting healed up. Velocity have taken the A side for themselves. 3v3. This is very much doable, Floki. The plan is going to go down, and here comes a retake.
Oh, Hellfighter, this is so cheeky. Sitting inside his own smoke.
No way.
Right to ace,
Not
and
like this.
Hellfighter
Not
able to
like
get the
this.
kill. Enigma in a 2v3 now. You can see their hearts are pounding. They're trying to make this work, but they have given up information. Hiccup fired the Spectre, and they already heard Rexy's Bulldog. They know where the two players are. And they're separating. I don't like this at all, but right Tracer's gonna get cleaned up. Hiccup's gonna find another. Rexy is gonna be able to get both Skill and Enigma. They will survive for another round, but BLT, they get the spike planted, so that means they have justified those sheriff pickups. Gonna have the money to buy the rifles in the next round. Over on the side of Enigma, though, I see economic struggles incoming.
Velocity really dragged down Enigma in that round. It could have gone really up and down for Enigma. A round that should have been pretty cleanly theirs. Made to be a little bit of a hard-working case for them. We have now Velocity on the buy, Floki. They've got Vandals, they've got armor, they've got utility, but on the other side of things, they've got pretty much the same buy, and Rafuel has a bigger weapon as well in the form of an operator. So let's see how he's going to be putting it to use. They are pushing towards B, so Enigma have a clarity of the situation. They know that B is completely open and Velocity is running towards A, and you can see the rotations coming in. Rafuel's not going to find anything over here because nobody's even close to A short. Velocity planning out for an all-out bomb towards A main.
Yeah, this is unlike Velocity that we've seen, but maybe this is their plan to catch them off guard. Unfortunately, it has been foiled by Enigma. They don't know that yet. They're gonna still try and make this one work. RV get alone on the site. Good for one, but gets triggered by Marvel. Hiccups there. The remote will beat him out too. Antidote once again gets one kill, but it trades all the way around, leaving Hellfighter alone, and Rexy will clean him up. Trade trades, and this is why trading is important. As long as the defenders get the first kill, they are in the clear. I mean, really, just a masterclass in why trading can be so important if you are playing that defense. And VLT, now they are going to be between a rock and a hard place, at least in this round. Fortunately for them, they just need to win one more to try to take this map. So, yeah, they can just sit back, relax, and, yeah, let the side of Enigma dig their own grave, mentally speaking.
Fair enough, but I think the Velocity don't really want this to drag out too long. Getting 11 to 1/2 and then losing out after that is gonna cause a little bit of a, you know, problem for them itself, because the more rounds they give away, the more Enigma are just gonna crawl in. You give them an inch, they will take a mile, and we've seen this team personify that phrase. Now Velocity, they've got a good positioning, but what they don't know, Rexy is looking right to it. He gets dinked down. Rexy, he needs to be careful now. One bullet is all they need, Velocity, to take down the Sova main on the side of Enigma. RVK comes up to help him, as Rafuel's on the other side as well, and now Deathmaker needs to be careful. He's got a pretty nasty crossfire across him, and he knows when to peek out because there can be multiple players here. RVK right across that archway could be a little bit tempted to go and jiggle out this place and see if anybody is still lingering around there, but nobody is except for Deathmaker. He's still holding on the cross, and he peeks onto one angle and he pays the price for it. Before he needs to get the entry going here, he's got no flashes, no hounds, no information whatsoever. Needs to peek out dry, and he's gonna get his head blown off. Right away to the last man standing. Is not going to be able to connect anything for a kill. It's going to be Rexy to take him down, as Enigma managed to put on 5.
Yeah, great stuff by Enigma so far to claw their way back into this game. But now with 2 ultimates up and running on the side of Velocity, the Seekers as well as the Cosmic Divide, this round is going to be a little harder than they might have anticipated. Let's have a quick look at Mazel's points as well, and he's just 1 point away from that lockdown. Thankfully, they do have Rexy's ultimate ready to try and take down that Killjoy ult, but this is where the mind games come in. Are you gonna fake? Are you gonna try and play off the Killjoy? What are you gonna do? Look at the split coming in from Velocity. They're gonna feel this one out first and then play on the back of their ultimates. While the spike is dropped towards B main, this is a much more methodical approach to this particular round, and I like it because they have the ultimates up and running. They themselves don't need to do anything. They just need to find information. Okay. And let the rounds do the work for them. And as I say that, Rafuel was able to get a free kill. Hellfighter out of the server, no Cosmic Divide to work with. A 4v5 now for Velocity. Oh no, Deathmaker also made noise, so he... Well, I guess no one was there to hear him, so it's gonna be okay for now, but still. Sneak his way in towards mid. The door's still open Turret spots him out. Now, Dream Dot comes
One
through.
down.
He's distracted, and RVK is going to use that to his advantage to clean him up. His lockdown at the ready as well. Velocity just keeps getting worse for them before. Find a pick. Will get the trade at
Spike
the
down
end, but
mid.
if Muzzle then go down, he's going to get 2. Making it a 2v3 for his team. And Antidote coming around the corner. Nice flash coming from him, but what the hell was that flick from Antidote?
Revealing
Despite
area.
being blinded, is going to be able to get the kill right to Ace, using that recon dart as, well, a form of cover to try and make his way back towards mid, where the spike has been dropped, and Raw Fuel, watching that cross, knows there's only one play remaining for right to Ace, but he misses. He whips the
10
shot.
seconds left.
Not a lot of time remaining here for right to
I have
Ace.
the
He's
spike.
gonna take the spike, but he has no time. He needs to save the weapon, and Raw Fuel cannot afford to give up the offering. A shot dart coming through, but it doesn't matter. Raw Fuel's gonna find that kill. Enigma, they get 6 on board.
Halfway there, ladies and gentlemen. Enigma have made things like these work before. And Velocity need to be careful moving into this match further on, because this is exactly where you have things going against you. And look at that. Immediate reaction. As soon as I say it, we've got right to race triggering like timeout for his team. And now they need to be a little bit more careful. Talk it through, see what's happening, what's going wrong. They know that, you know, they're having a bit of a tough time. That's okay, to be honest. Sometimes in situations like these, you do get a little bit tensed. When you're up 12-2, you might slip up 1, maybe 2 times, and that causes a cascade of events to take place. You might give away 6 rounds, as they have right now. They need to be a little cautious about the way they, you know, procure their resources in the next few rounds, because they don't really have economy right now. They can semi-buy into this if they want to, but that's just going to cause a little bit of a, you know, rocky buy in the next round. So we're going to see what happens with Velocity right now, because this is a round that, you know, they should just let go, to be honest. It's not going to matter much. They just need to get by, maybe cause a little bit of damage. But economically, Enigma have built up quite a bit. Raw Fuel's up to 7 grand. We've got RVK up to 4.5. Looking pretty good, except for the 3 players. Let's see what happens. Velocity, what you got in store for us this round?
My god, Vibor just instantly eats a shock dart, gets taken down to around 70 points of life. And that's going to soften him up for when he does try to take the side, because there's no heal available, so...
No more
RVK
silver.
will find right to Ace, peeking around the corner towards Ace shot. But in the meantime, 3 players proceeding up towards B. Rexy does spot out Marzel, marks him up, is going to try and clear the corner, and he does end up seeing 3 shot darts coming through. Totally end up connecting, and it looks like they are going to hightail it back towards mid instead, where Hellfighter does have them covered. But look at that positioning on Hika. I don't think they spotted him. They don't know he is in this corner. Could catch a couple of players going up the stairs. He's still waiting for the time. The spike has been dropped towards
Spike
mid.
down mid.
Mars was
Oh,
actually
no,
holding
Marcel.
on to it. This could go south real quick. And RVK, while he was good for 1, Deathmaker did trade him out. Now Hika, playing from inside the smoke, getting spammed out. Good flash, gives them a lot of information, and
enemy
allows them
remaining.
to hold on.
I got
Raw
the
Fuel,
spike.
come in and get that pick, but Deathmaker gets spotted. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. An impossible 1v4 for him at that. And Enigma put 7 on board. Not bad considering how that first half went. But Velocity, now it's their time to shine. They've got 4 ults up and running. The Seekers, the Cosmic Divide, the Hunter's Fury, the Lockdown. And if they had the Jet Knives, I'm sure they would have popped those too.
Maybe. They just need anything. They've got 5 ultimates, like you said, Floki. No, sorry. They've got 4 Velocity. They've got Enigma with 5, so it's gonna be a battle of the ultimates this round. A battle of the flashes for now, though. Raw Fuel cannot escape. That dash isn't gonna work for him. The one thing I did not really understand is him going out there all alone by his lonesome to try and find a kill. No support, gets taken out. Rexy will get a tag onto the bull. There's nothing more he can do, though.
Okay.
Have Velocity with the man advantage, so they don't really need to push on too much. They need to just wait for Enigma to make another mistake. Okay, RVK throws in that Defender's Killjoy ultimate. to deny anybody entering in over here. They know where he is. They know where the lockdown is. And for now, Velocity need to hold on to their ground. As soon as this goes down, Velocity make their move towards B. What they don't know, Enigma, is that Helef is still towards high mid. And this ultimate causes Velocity to get into the side a little bit easier. Marzel takes care of the backstab. Helef finds another. Enigma are falling apart, ladies and gentlemen. This could be just it.
Yeah, Velocity, they're really doing it this time around. Patience paying off wonders for them as Antidote. Be lurking around that Cosmic Divide to try and find a pick, but Deathmaker in position on the staircase will be able to find Antidote. Rexy there with the trade, but he's an impossible 1v3. This is going to be incredibly hard, but if he does pull this off, he will keep his team in the game. He's not willing to give up just yet. Recon Dart goes through. Spots one out. Marzo gets cleaned up. While Rexy is blind, he's still alive for the time being, and he has time to work with, but he is getting bullied. And the clock is starting to tick. He knows he needs to make a move. Hellfighter holding on. Will cover the flank, will cover the cross, and Rexy gets taken out in the end. Velocity, they will finish out this game. 12-7 took a little bit longer than they anticipated, but man, that first half was absolutely dominant. I mean,
yeah.
I don't even know what to say. You know, Enigma, they just looked out of their element. It didn't seem like they were a team that had been playing together for a long time. And while the comeback was really good, I really appreciate them being able to put up a lot more rounds in a row. I think we both know, and they too know, that they need to work on their defense. I mean, on their offense a lot more.
Yeah, it is true. 11-1 half. When we've seen this team, we've seen these players at the really highest of levels perform at the best of their abilities. Take a beating like this is not good. The comeback almost happened, but it was nearly impossible. You know, not every day is a Sunday. Not every team is Force 1. So we're just gonna have to have a look at the match highlights now to see how Velocity in the first half completely dismantled, disgruntled, whatever you want to call it. They did to the side of Enigma, but in the second half they did slip quite a bit, to be honest. I think Velocity could have shut this one out 13-1, Floki, but one round gave away 6 more, and Velocity need to not let that happen the next time, because Enigma, they're a team that usually capitalizes on such positions. Yeah. They make you sweat when they know that they've got you in a position where, you know, you might be on top, but you're still vulnerable to a lot of different, outlets of outplay. So if Enigma can't have exploited that before, they can exploit it again. But it might not happen often, but it could happen anytime.
Yeah, it certainly could. I mean, I feel like Enigma, they were really at the mercy of Velocity making mistakes in that second half, and it seemed that Velocity did slip up. I agree with you that I feel like Velocity, this was more on them just, being a little bit too impatient. I remember that rush coming in towards A when Rawfuel had gotten all the information to work with on B. They still went through with it, and they didn't check their corners, and as a result, they got that free pick, which is culminated into a cascade of really good trades coming out for Enigma, and that kept them in the game for the coming 3 rounds as well. But they stabilized, they were able to get back the win. I just hope next time around it doesn't take as long, right? Because better teams will punish that. If you're against global esports and you throw away a lead like this, they will build up an economy and they will make you sweat.
Yeah, they most certainly will. The fact that Velocity completely, dominated the first half like that, I genuinely did not expect it. I did not expect a landslide to come in. But it did. It was you know what? It wasn't even a landslide. It was an avalanche, the first one. And we're not even an icebox, for God's sake. We're in the Ascent. And an avalanche like this is something that only Velocity can drop onto their opponents, and they look like they're in really good form right now. They could be well on their way to win Breeze as well, which, by the way, is their pick, ladies and gentlemen. Ascent was Enigma's. So unless Velocity have, another big slip up early on in Breeze, I think Breeze should be theirs, and we might just not get to see a fracture after all in this best of 3. But hey, never say never. I'm just gonna go with that for now, because we have got Velocity in the driver's seat right now. They are driving that Maserati, and they're having fun, while in the seat next to them, Enigma is screaming like a scared little child who has no idea what's going on. And I really hope that, they get a grip, because Velocity are not going to get their foot out the gas pedal. And if there's any way that Enigma really, want to see this go to a map number 3, they need to get an early and big lead in Breeze.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I feel like Breeze is going to be a sick mental game. They need to get that early lead going so they get their confidence back. And yeah, with that said, we are going to be cutting to a short break, ladies and gentlemen. Until then, you're watching LG Ultragear presents the Esports Club Gauntlet Season 3, powered by Ballistix and Crucial, and of course, our apparel partner 656. We'll be back with map number 2 in just a bit.
from the legends of memory and storage. Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming. Legendary products. Precision engineered. For speed and stability. Crucial Ballistix.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to LG Ultragear presents the Esports Club Gauntlet Season 3, powered by Ballistix and Crucial, along with our apparel partner 656. My name is Loki. Joining me for this one is going to be Universe. The first map between Velocity and Enigma Gaming was a little bit one-sided. Just a little bit for the first half. In the second half, we did see Enigma make a pretty decent comeback. Unfortunately, they could not go all the way in the end. And now we move on to Velocity's map pick, Breeze. It is a little bit surprising that Enigma picked up Ascent and proceeded to get absolutely demolished on that map.
I mean, you wouldn't really think about, Enigma having a strugglesome time on the map of Ascent because, we know that they've picked it up and we know that, they've had a little bit of, I don't want to say difficult time, but I think, confusing time because of the fact, well, they've got 3 new players, they've had a new system, Antidote's playing on the controller role. It's just a lot of different things that, that came into the play. But hey, they have lost it out, and now they move on to Breeze, another map where they really need to fear this mammoth side of Velocity Gaming. We've got it coming up, ladies and gentlemen, as we've got the agent selection screen heading up on our screens right now. And yet again, Enigma, they are going for their usual picks, and this time Antidote's going for the Sova. What?
This is a little bit confusing. I am surprised by the changes coming in from Enigma. This seems that they don't really have any fixed roles except for RVK and Rawfuel, who are adamant on playing that Jet and that Sentinel respectively. Hika now picking up that Sky for himself. Rexy playing the Viper instead. A little bit new, I must say, but over on the side of Velocity, this is the tried and tested. We've seen them play this out a million times, and it makes sense. Report's going to be playing that Viper. Mazel probably playing that Sky up on this map like he always does. Right Trace on the Sova, and Deathmaker playing that Jet. Pretty sure there is room for other agents too, but I think this provides you the best mix of both offense and defense, of course. Sky and Sova giving you all the information and a couple of flashes and the scouting abilities to work with when you try and go for a take, along with Viper helping you divide up the side and try and get some map control in towards the side and towards mid as well. I'm just curious to see how Rexy is going to lay down that Viper wall, because I do think that Enigma are actually going to start out on defense with this one, and Velocity will be attacking. So it means that the fight, it's going to have to be, Velocity taking it to them. And starting on defense on a map like Breeze, I think it feels good. Usually you feel like Breeze is slightly attacking sided, so you kind of want to save that for later on, because if you get the tempo early on defense, you can just sort of snowball out of control and get a lot more rounds on board than you would if you were on offense. It sort of takes time to get that offense ball rolling. So let's see how this map plays out as we are about to jump into the game. Universe, before we jump in though, what are your predictions? Who do you think is going to win and by how much?
I think this is going to stand out at 2-0. I really don't see Enigma win this one yet again with the roster shifts, with the kind of agents that they've selected. Antidote on that Sova, and we've got Rexy on Viper. it might be a little bit of a problem to see how exactly they're going to be playing this. But on the other side of things, on Velocity, there's a bit of a change as well. Marzo is playing that Sky, which usually, by the way, is played by Right to Ace. On the map of Breeze, we've seen Right to Ace play this Sky role, but hey, we're going to see it. Velocity switching up things a bit as well, but they're used to doing it. We've seen them make a lot of differences, but now we've got Enigma looking to try and adjust to it. As they are making their way towards B, and Rexy moves out of his own smoke, finds a kill, pretty easy for him, but Boar taken out of the equation, and Hika actually finds Right to Ace as well. Velocity, they might be falling apart, but they've got 2 kills back, and it's a flurry of trades coming in, but still in the favor of Enigma. Marzo, 1v3. Got everybody surrounding him except for his backlines. He's got the spike on his hands, though. He can't look to cause a little antidote. Could be caught off guard over here. 1 bullet, that's all he needed. But he's not going to give it to him. From this side, though, I'll be able to. Good positioning. Antidote might be baited into this. But what he's only being baited into is letting RVK come and take out Marzo from the backlines. And it's going to be round number 1 for the side of Enigma. And already a first better half.
Yeah. Great stuff coming in here from the side of Enigma. This is the sort of start that we were talking about. You know, they need this start to try and claw their way back into the series, make it 1-1, take it to Fracture, and hopefully shows how that map is played. But for now, it's going to lap up a free round for themselves. Meanwhile, the side of Velocity, they're going to be quite happy if they just get the spike down. I don't think they're going to buy up any weapons at all. Except for Deathmaker, of course, who's going to pick up that Marshal and potentially the Guardian in the next round, considering that he might have... he might not have a lot of money to work with. Rockfield gets stacked up and can't really find Deathmaker, but will return the favor with a headshot. Style points for him as they're able to find a pick to start things off. And Hellfighter made his presence felt towards Tubes. Could potentially create space towards B, but Rexy is still holding on to it for the time being. And Right to Ace has the spike and is sitting duck behind those boxes, just trying to wait for his teammates to make a move on the map. So maybe get the spike down, but Rockfield is shutting everyone down. Finds Wabor, finds Hellfighter, leaving Right to Ace all alone outside of B. And Rexy, he is not going anywhere.
Right to Ace sat there for far too long, and Rexy, he understood that maybe Right to Ace has not been spotted out towards A. There's only one possible place he could be in. Waiting to get that spike plant so he could get a little extra money towards B. Rexy was not going to let him plant it. Even though he didn't get the plant, it's going to be money enough for a little bit of a buy, a full buy coming in for the side of Velocity. As we see a really, really calm Breeze map right now. Serene, water, beaches, everything over here going to get burnt up if Velocity turn up the heat.
Yeah, this time, you know, it's Report taking point, trying to find that fake to start things off, but Antidote punishes with the Spectre at that distance. Not too sure what happened there. Even RVK is playing aggressively. He wants to find Hellfighter to start things off here. Rockfuel has spotted out 2 players. Stations are most certainly going to be coming in real quickly. Velocity about to be pinched across the map as we see the rest of the Enigma players making their way in and around this A side. They will finally find Rockfield, but that's taken a lot of pride. Marzo, Scout's gonna go down real quick. Deathmaker actually does end up finding Rexy. Is the wiper taken out of commission? That shock dart doesn't really do all that much.
Revealing area.
Okay, that recon will do. I mean,
Oh no, it won't?
No, it doesn't.
Oh no.
One enemy
Antidote!
Oh my god. Oh, that was so unfortunate for Antidote. He didn't know that recon was gonna work. Ends up not revealing anyone outside of A.
That is...
And Antidote had to learn that the hard way.
I mean, to be honest, what else would you call it, Floki? That's probably the inexperience of playing of not playing a Sova, right? He's not played a Sova before. As far as I've known, I've not watched Antidote play a Sova before. And you could see by the that recon, although it's pretty straightforward, the unfortunate positioning of it just gives it away. Well, happens, and we've got Enigma coming up with their own buy now. And you know the one thing that I love to see, Helaf's with that Guardian, which he always is on the map of Breeze, and I love it. I love it when this guy taps heads.
Yep, 0 in accuracy during ADS. This gun is about as good as it gets. If you consider yourself a sharpshooter, pick it up, see how many shots you land. Well, the sneaking around gets a little bit too aggressive. Didn't anticipate them to pick up Vandals for this round, as they managed to try and find the front over here. Hellfighter still lurking around, hasn't really found anyone just yet. But the rest of Enigma are here. Deathmaker will find Hiccup before being cleared up, but the trade still favors Velocity. Man advantage in their favor. Rock's gonna make that operator work, or actually gonna sneak around with right to ace. Watching that is gonna be able to get a kill, but so is Rawfuel. Get back to a 2v3 from a 2v4. Right to ace, hiding around in the corner. Rawfuel knows where he is gonna peek him and get the kill. Oh my god, that headshot on Hellfighter was nasty. But lineups, they are there. They are gonna stick the defuse for half the time at least. Boris gonna land that second snake by 2. Can Antidote get the defuse? And yes, he can.
Player standing.
No, he cannot!
No way! That didn't happen!
Oh my god, Whiphor! Through the grenade, clutches out the round. Everyone dead. That was insane. No poison orb needed either.
So that diffused. I really thought that diffused. Oh my god, that is so. Rawfuel was pretty much the hero of this round, but when it came down to the last bit of things, Antidote could do nothing but just sit and wait and watch himself die. He did defuse it halfway through, but that second snake bite, the boar clutches it up with literally seconds to spare, milliseconds for that matter. And now Enigma, as a result of that, are on an eco. Blades are out for Rawfuel, but I think this should be an easy Velocity round.
Absolutely should be. I mean, Velocity should be able to clean this up rather easily. No struggles for them.
I've got your trail.
Also been spotted, so the jig is up for him. They're gonna take this round as safely as possible as the Seekers come through. I mean, so much reveal is being tossed his way. First the Spike and dust, then the recon ball. The Hellfighter is gonna find Rexy trying to rotate. Rawfuel doing his best to try and make something happen, but plucks Rawfuel out of the sky. Hellfighter on the killing spree, finds 3. This round's done and dusted. Antidote on the flank might be good for 1, but I think even then Muzzle knows.
Yeah,
on him with the same. He was on, he was with the same team, so he knows how Antidote likes things. If you have been following other tactical FPS, you know what I'm talking about. These guys know each other, and Muzzle taking full advantage of the fact, knowing Antidote well.
You know, Floki, the thing that, this wasn't eco. Yeah, right? Whatever. But
yeah,
we expected Velocity to win this. I just want to look at the overarching storyline of this game, right? We just think of the fact that, we've got a team like Enigma where we know what players usually play. We know that, we've got Rexy, we've got Antidote, we've got these players who are pretty versatile, to be honest, but there are certain agents that you need to limit yourself with. And that right now, Enigma haven't found a strategy to yet, but Ika has found a strategy to find 1. Deathmaker with an immediate trade, down to 63 HP, so he needs to be careful. Vibor, though, he's going to be more than careful. Takes out 1, but look at this guy. Rawfuel with the backstab. He actually tags down LF with the operator. Nerds of steel on this man, and RVK just taps down 2 heads like it's nothing. Looking for a 3rd, but he gets taken out himself. And trades coming back and forth. Antidote finds right to ace. It's left 1 man alone, and that's Hellef. He's got a Vandal that he's been singing with so far. Not gonna be any more though. Rawfuel comes out clutch. It's gonna be Enigma to get another round. 3-3. We go toe to toe, ladies and gentlemen. Enigma are back in this game. Now, look, I just want to go back to what I was talking about, right? Yeah, the fact that Enigma have somebody like Rexy, who is a dedicated Sova main, who plays the initiator role really well. Sky, Sova, give it anything. Okay, we've got Hiccup playing that role right now, and we've got Sova, which can be played by Rexy, by the way. I really think that, if we had shifted roles, maybe if Antidote could have taken up the Viper role, it could have been a lot more efficient for Enigma than it is him playing on the Sova role, because Rexy would be free to play at the best of his abilities, and he wouldn't be, concocted to a way that he needs to be forced to play as a Viper with no information, just his, Sentinel-like utility. Do you think so?
I think so, but it's also the case about what Antidote does or does not play, right? It might just be the case that he doesn't play that Viper and Rexy does, so Rexy's like, alright, you know what, you pick up the Sova, I'll take the Viper. Yeah, make life easier, but Hellfighter is not gonna let Antidote's life be easy as Antidote peeks out and gets completely destroyed. Not able to connect his shots. Raw Fuel, though, still in the game with the Operator. The X Factor, alive and kicking, but the Seekers looking to foil the plans of Velocity over here as Marzel gets spotted. Here's them coming through. That's the worst possible time to get that Wolf out, but his teammates are there to cover him, so it ends up working out for him. Rexy gets revealed, walks through smoke, and gets cleaned up, and Hellfighter will find RVK.
You know what I love? I love the fact that HLF and RVK have such two similar playstyles. You know, I see this usually from RVK on both Breeze when I've seen him play, back one with Force One, and I've seen him play like this even on Haven. They just stick to their spawn, dude. They just sit there. They go put out their tripwires, and you can see even HLF right now. He's just lingering around his spawn area, catching off any kind of rotations, pivotal to his team, catching out mid, catching out B pushes, catching out A pushes. HLF is just so important to the team.
Grounded.
Yeah, most certainly. And look at Deathmaker. He's already found a pick on Raw Fuel to start things off. Rexy has been spotted and through the wall. Will end up landing a headshot on Deathmaker, but Deathmaker is going to return the favor. Still alive. Hika is going to clean him up, but
One
no weapon
enemy
upgrades
remaining.
for him. Hika gets greedy, gets punished, leaving Antidote in a 1v4. I mean, and once again, it feels like Hellfighter and RVK, they're playing a game of their own on the side.
Yeah.
Every single round, it's just like, watching a duel of two main characters. It's like watching Vegeta versus Goku, That entire DBZ arc can play out, but we'll always be hyped for those Vegeta and Goku matches. That's what really gets us going. I mean, it just seems that every single round, RVK and Hellfighter, they're just trying to outplay each other. They don't even care about the rest of the team. It's all about, pride or, getting that cheeky lurk kill on the enemy team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Breeze has been a bit of a Velocity home ground for as long as we watched them play in the last couple of months since the map has come out. It's been them and Global Esports trying to dominate this. A lot of teams have avoided one particular reason. Enigma haven't been able to avoid it. HLF this time again up to his lurk. Just like you said, they're playing their own game styles, RVK and HLF, although this time is supported by DM. HLF needs to be careful. Sound cues are something that he's been hearing for a while now. Deathmaker and him are looking into different directions, and that's a really good crossfire being set up. Antidote, he chooses to go back towards A, which could be the case if there's a little bit of a sound from Velocity being made towards A. Nothing on their start for now, so Antidote needs to hold on towards mid. And it's all about the patience game at this point, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of Velocity players being committed over here towards B. And now Antidote, he's not... Wait, what?
Blocking sight.
There was zero communication from the team coming in. What the hell just happened?
I mean... It's
Oh
not,
my god.
It's not just about communication. When a Cypher tripwire is broken, you know that it's broken, right? You can see it on the map. I think Antidote was a little too distracted by mid. He maybe thought somebody's going to kill him from mid, so he had two different angles to look at. Chose to commit to one, and he gets taken off by the other. Enigma falling again apart, piece by piece. This time by a simple push towards holes. One kill was all they needed. Antidote goes down, and that's all Velocity needed to infiltrate the B side, make it their own, and now push in towards the spawn of the defenders and take him out as well. Raw Fuel, he'll be lucky to save this operator. And no, he's not. Marcel's just tapping edge like there's nothing at the moment that makes him happier. As Vapor finds the last one, it's gonna be another Velocity round, and you can see it. They're loving it right now, Velocity. Smiles across everybody's faces. And they're just having fun.
Yeah, most certainly. And Heka, I mean, he panicked towards the end. He could sense it in the way he was aiming. He knew he was in a 1vx, and it was a hard situation to be in. Cannot pull through under those circumstances. Antidote, I don't know where the comms are for Enigma. It seems that last game too, their comms were a little bit off. And even in this particular half, it seems that the round that they have won, they've won on individual skill, not really amazing comms and fast plays. I mean, this time the comms are going to be there. So RVK Not able to hold on for a long time,
I've
and
got your
Velocity, they're
trail.
just trying to pick up this free round for themselves.
Wait, did Antidote just commit the Hunter's Fury? Is that what just happened?
I think he did.
I just heard here comes and then that was it. That was it. But yeah, for now. Oh! Deathmaker!
Enemy remaining.
Didn't get the first kill, so he tapped the one behind him. But a Hunter's Fury was committed, and it definitely was not right to ace. And you could see Antidote actually died towards elbow, so he had pushed up. And Helef got a pretty easy kill on him. I don't really know why Antidote committed that in such an open position where he knows that, you know, his opponents could be coming in. Well, whatever it is, it's Enigma that are giving away the rounds. They're making mistakes that shouldn't be happening. They're just paying the price for it. And now look at this over here. Floki, there's a double operator setup coming in from Antidote and Raphael. Okay.
Yeah, well, Antidote, he needs to find some form of comfort back in this game. Decides that the best way to do it is to pick up that operator, but that does mean that he does not have the drone for retakes. Could be a bit of a problem. Recon Dot is not the best ability to have on retakes. It is really good though at being annoying when you're trying to push the attackers. But look at Raphael in such a potent position. Not gonna guess right. Doesn't matter though.
Pixel.
Such a quick flick from Raphael. Deathmaker. Gonna give away sound. Rex. Oh, he saw the way and he's gonna be able to find the kill on Deathmaker. Deathmaker is not gonna be feeling happy about that as well. Vulnerable for the time being,
Spike
but still
down
alive.
A.
He's gonna be able to find a second take to start things off. And Hellfighter, he snuck in. He snuck in and he found Hika. Raphael, he's looking in the wrong direction. He might not anticipate Hellfighter to be moving his position, but he gets spotted. REK takes a tap to the head, but still alive for the time being.
Not
Looks
anymore.
like Right Doers will be able to finish off REK. It's all down to Raphael.
remaining.
And while he does get shot, he just 2 HP to work with, but
One
Right
enemy
Doers will
remaining.
find that kill now in a 1v1 against Antidote. Can he win this out? He doesn't know where the operator is. What? Antidote missed that shot. Right to ace. With the
Oh
quick
my
flick to
God.
the head.
Last
What the
round
hell
in
just
the half.
happened? Ah, that was a round that Enigma had in the bag. Oh my god, Velocity somehow managed to clutch that out. Ah,
Antidote.
painful to look at if you're an Enigma fan.
Yeah, I have to agree. Antidote, that's not as usual. He's having a really bad time on Breeze. He's at the bottom of the table for his team, and this is just not his game. I mean, you gotta feel sad for the guy because he changed his weapons, he tried to change his strategy. Still didn't work out for him. Now they need to be careful. Vapor, he's just going in straight. Okay, Vapor's actually creeped by, and Rexy could be in trouble. Vapor with his lurks, he's just so good, but look at this change in positions. Rexy's in that corner, and now he's going to where Vapor was. And moving in, Vapor's just gonna give away his life. Oh my god, the information, the way that they position themselves, everything goes wrong. So we'll find a trade, and RVK's not gonna find anything. Angelo will though.
Spike
One more
down.
kill for him, but he gets a bullet straight to his head. 2v2, right away, still holding on the
enemy
backstab.
remaining.
Is gonna look away at the wrong time. And now he's lifted all to Deathmaker. Find the
enemy
1v2. A beautiful tap to the head, not really knowing where Hika is
I got the
still,
spike.
but aware of the fact that he could be on the backstab. Hika's playing his patience game, and he knows where he is now. Deathmaker, he can go for the plan easily, and he does not really need to worry about it. Just trying to fake him out. Hika, he's counter faking
30
him out
seconds
at this point. Finally, Deathmaker's gonna go for it. Plant goes down. He has everything he needs. Acts like he's gonna dash away. Waste all of his knives. Still got a beautiful weapon to work with.
Oh
Beautiful.
my
Okay.
god,
Get
what
out.
a beautiful angle from
Alright.
Deathmaker.
Okay, alright.
You know,
Switching
Velocity just completely went guns blazing into the Viper's pit. I thought that was a round they should lose, but then Deathmaker happened.
Deathmaker. Crazy little guy, dude. I mean, what the hell is this guy made of? It's just... I mean, that lurk from Vapor, though, the first thing, Floki, was something that blew my mind because you could see both the Vipers were playing Ring of Roses around that pit where Rexy had positioned, and it was unfortunate Vapor had to give up his life, but then came Deathmaker, and he just blew away the entire thing open. getting 4 kills in the process. Good work of whatever he could. Now Enigma in a 9-3 half against them. They need to believe in the curse if they want to make this work. Velocity have got the curse worked against them on freeze. Could happen again if Enigma try to make so. But they're on the attack now. They need to find something fast.
Poison's gone.
Okay, raw fuel, good for the first pick. Looking for the second, but Marcel's gonna shut him down before that happens.
Spike planted.
He's already on him, but he doesn't anticipate Hiccup to come in with the push. He's actually taking out
player
two right to race as well. He's gonna find Deathmaker on top of Marcel. And Hellfighter is now left in a 1v3. This man worked his match before. It'll be hard for him to do a 1v2. He doesn't know where the second player is. Has an idea, but no for sure. And Rexy will be able to clean up Hellfighter as Enigma. They keep themselves in the game by winning the pistol, but they're still fighting an uphill battle.
Most certainly are. Is a difficult terrain ahead of them. They might win the next round. But even that is on the back of a Velocity mistake being caused, because Velocity, they might not be having the best of weapons, but they still can cause damage. No buy for them whatsoever. Classics, complete eco this round for them. Should be an easy Enigma win. 9-5 scoreline should be coming up quick, ladies and gentlemen. Deathmaker's actually bought in a Sheriff. And RVK's taken down Hella, pushing in towards B. So Enigma have upper ground already.
Absolutely. Well, Marlon's gonna be good for one, but that's about it. Well, right here, he finds another one, and Raw goes in with the updraft and the dash. A classic to the face.
That's good enough, I guess. Velocity getting 2 kills, dropping 2
good.
weapons. Yeah, that's good enough, I think. You know, they have forced.
Especially considering that they only bought one Sheriff on Deathmaker, right? You gotta be happy with that.
Yeah, that's true. Because now you can see that he's the only one playing with half armor. Everybody else has got full utility, full armor, waiting to take on this round. Where Rafiel's been forced to buy in, as the rest of the team are playing on Spectres for the side of Enigma. So they need to be careful. Short range fights are what they need, or a miracle when you spray down that Spectre. For now, Enigma going in towards the right direction for a short range fight. Marshall might just give it to them, and he is. He's gonna give away his life at the being as well. The board not spotted out. Oh boy. Velocity. They have an opening, and it's in the hands of Vibor, and he's gonna give it to them. Deathmaker finds one right towards another. And Enigma, they might find 2 back, and it's 2v2 now. But it's still really difficult for them, because Hika's down low, and nobody's good enough to heal him. No Sage available, and can't heal himself either. They've doubled up the boys of Velocity, and they're not gonna let them plant, because they know the spike is nowhere close. They know.
Look at RVK. Hey, and he knows! Right to ace, knew it was too little too late. RVK was good for the kill, leaving Vibor in a hard to pull off 1v2, but Vibor, it's big brain time. He's actually lurking in towards mid, being aggressive himself. And he finds a bounce on RVK. I mean, not on RVK, but at least on he could start things up. And now RVK doesn't have the best weapon for the situation, and Vibor cleans up. This man, no hesitation whatsoever, will keep Velocity in the game as they are able to win out that very crucial buy round coming in for them. Well, but that's okay. I believe Enigma have the money to buy rifles. Or do they?
I'm not quite sure, because if they buy in over here, Floki, it's gonna be a little bit difficult for them, because they're not gonna have as much utility as they would want. You can see Rafuel is getting ready to play on his knives. We've got RVK on the Sheriff only. So it's a do-or-die situation for the boys of Enigma.
Also, the boys of Velocity, their money is not looking that good either. You have to remember, only Vibor survived that last round. So snake bites being used very early on. Pretty much means that it's down to Vibor and his aim trying to make something happen here.
They are being careful. They've got 3 players on A, so they've got the read pretty well over here. Enigma have got 4 players towards A, and now they're slowly retreating back, leaving Rafuel alone. The knives. And he could be surgical. Could be the good doctor. But taking clean off a couple of heads, but he's not having any avenues to get out of his corner, because he knows that there might be somebody waiting for him. Deathmaker holding down B with Hell F, needs to be careful with that tripwire. which is on the side of Enigma. Is holding off a backstab. That's exactly why they haven't pushed in. But Deathmaker is running out open in the mid region, so he's got pretty much the entire
30
pivotal region of the
seconds
map
left.
controlled. So they know that if Enigma's entering somewhere, it's gonna be only from the main regions of both the sides. And it's gonna be A, ladies and gentlemen. We're moving in. Marzo, he's moving in a really tight corner, and the Flash is helping out both these teams at the moment. Vibor, no bullets left, and he's gonna have to go to the reload and give away his life. Right away, survives on the back of the Deathmaker to help him
One
out.
enemy
Gets
remaining.
an easy two-tap
Spike down
break coming in. And right to Ace. He finds RVK, does not find the kill because Deathmaker is there to clear him out. RVK somehow did not tap out right to Ace either. Weird exchange of bullets right there, but it's gonna be Deathmaker to shut down everything, as I have no godforsaken clue as to what the hell happened there, Floki. Did you have any idea? Because I'm out of, I don't know.
Yeah, that was just, once again, Deathmaker being Deathmaker. Somehow pulling his team out of that sticky situation. Before, slight mistake there. Forgot that he didn't have enough bullets left in the clip, but I guess he wasn't a do or die, right? Even if he starts reloading, he's just kind of dead. It was either that or pull out the classic, and he stuck to the 3 bullets he had remaining in the Vandal.
Okay.
Deathmaker
Okay.
ADSing down, cleans up REK. Finding a face, but Rockview does not survive. Rockview does survive. Gets Wibor, but will be treated out by Mazel. And that is back in favor of Velocity and Mazel. That was purely for information, and he's put out the third player as well. They know exactly where Enigma is now. And Enigma are done and dusted. They
One
need to
enemy
win these
remaining.
fights, but Deathmaker is shutting them all down. And
It's
Hiccup-
over.
Yeah, it is over. Fat Lady, I can hear her sing, and I'm sure Velocity can.
Match point.
The opera is loud and clear, and we can hear names of Velocity being chanted across the room, across the chat, wherever it is. It's Velocity. Feel the Velocity. And right now, I'm pretty sure Enigma are feeling it. They've got a one last buy in place here, Floki. It's just, this is it. If they lose this one, it's gone. It's down to brass tacks now. Survival mode needs to be turned on, and it needs to be turned on right now, as we've got Velocity shimmying up towards B. They're clearing out every corner they can. And we can hear a lot of Enigma players, but look at this! What?
Oh my god!
Marzo, how do you miss that, my friend?
Mazel doing a big silly over there, unfortunately.
Spike planted.
Just,
I know
forgets
exactly
the age-old advice. Shoot them in the head. What can they do next? Nothing at all.
Revealing area.
And the best time to pull it off, too. And right to Ace, it's gonna be read like a book.
Yeah, they know where he is. They know. I'm pretty sure they know where one is. They don't know where Vibor is yet. That's exactly why you can see RVK peeking towards the defender side spawn. But now they're taking off Vibor as well. And right to Ace. Antidote cleans up the last two. Bit of a confidence booster for him, getting those 2 kills. Man's not been really having a great game. I think he deserves the support, to be honest. Antidote. He's been a pretty great icon for the gaming industry for quite a while. And we all know it. Back when in his days when he was playing for Velocity, he then played for Godlike and now playing for Enigma. He's had a bit of a journey, ladies and gentlemen. He's transitioned quite a bit, so I think he deserves the love no matter what the result of today's game is.
Most certainly does, but I'm not sure if Enigma has an ending at the end of this round. Vibor already gonna use that ultimate up to just funnel them towards the A side instead, and you can see the rotations coming in. Hellfighters actually found raw fuel to start things off, and he's still alive with 30 HP. The cherry on top would have been the neural theft, but unfortunately, he did not get the opportunity to pop it. Just a bit too far. And right to Ace. Sneaking
Oh, look at this guy.
around that poison orb. He's actually gonna be such a big thorn in the side of Enigma. They don't anticipate this at all. Rexy, he seems like he actually has an idea about this push. He's playing this a little bit careful, but he might be able to get one kill. No, he cannot. Rexy will be able to clean him up. And now, they're all walking straight into the open arms of Deathmaker, who has the operator trained. He's gonna be able to find the antidote. Takes out the recon dart as well, does not get spotted. Well, that's me fighting to make life a little bit harder. Hellfighter is great with the
Spike
Vandal.
down A.
And that, like I've always said, is how you know you're completely screwed. Deathmaker gonna finish it off in
Defenders
style.
win.
In the air with the knife. That's it, Enigma. They're done for. Velocity will take this map 13-6, and with that, the game as well. Deathmaker, you can see that when his tooth is not hurting, this is a completely different beast.
Yeah, he has just completely. I don't even know what he's on, what he's eaten for breakfast, lunch, or snacks, or, you know, he's just had a couple of Red Bulls, but whatever he did, last year you're going to be thankful for it because you can look at the scoreboard. Yet again, that man is right on top. 26 kills for Deathmaker in this match, and he's just crazy. He this time wants to be on that MVP standings board pretty soon, and he's going to be after this performance for sure. Yeah, let's just have a look at the match highlights though, because I'm pretty sure we're going to see a lot of Deathmaker, but Velocity as a whole have got their own highlight reel. And not to forget, Raw Fuel, to be honest, on the side of Enigma, has been pretty much of a shining star for them. They might have had a really, bad series of rounds throughout both the maps, but I think Raw Fuel is the one guy who has been clearly showing, signs of danger. That Velocity need to treat Enigma with a little bit of respect, to give them a little bit of ground to play with, which they have, by the way, because Raw Fuel has been pretty great by his lonesome. And like you said, Floki, that individual play is what came into play for Enigma. And I think it did more for Raw Fuel than any other player on the side of Enigma.
Absolutely, it certainly did. And I feel like Raw Fuel, he did his best. I mean, he put his team on his back and tried to carry them. But at the end of the day, there's only so much one man can do, right? Especially in rounds like this. Antidote, towards the end, he actually thought that he had the defuse, but I'm pretty sure if he just let Raw Fuel stick it, he would have had it. And yeah, unfortunately, that little mistake ended up really, really costing them, because that's what allowed Velocity to come back in this game. I mean, you just cannot be afforded to be making such mistakes if you are Enigma. And Enigma, I'm sure they know that they have a lot more work to do for the rest of this season.
They most certainly do. The group, I mean, there is one thing though, there is one silver lining on the back of, on this cloud, is the fact that Enigma have already faced the best, right? These are the champions, and the things from here only should be getting better for them, because the other teams might not have won the TC Gauntlet. They might not be as good on paper as Velocity are, but it's something that Enigma can really take care of, right? We've seen them do it before. And even with the roster changes coming in, I really think that Enigma should be on track for a good top 4 finish, right? I mean, at least that's what I believe in. This might be just, this possibly could be just the only loss that they take throughout the season, maybe. Who knows?
Yep, it could be. I mean, you never know what the level of the other teams is, so it's good to have an open mind. But then again, at the same time, Velocity, with this dominant of a showing, I'm pretty sure the teams who've been watching them are going to be a little bit shaky, a little bit quivering when they are in the same server as them. These guys are the superstars. But hey, here's the thing. We can't break this game down alone. We need aggressive for that. And for that reason, we are going to be heading on down to the analyst desk after a short break. Until then, you're watching LG Ultragear presents the TEC Gauntlet Season 3, powered by Ballistix and Crucial, and of course, our apparel partner 656. Make sure you check them out using the links down in the description below. Me and Universe, we're going to be back in just a bit.
From the legends of memory and storage, Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming. Legendary products, precision engineered for speed and stability. Crucial Ballistix.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, on towards the analyst desk of the LG Ultragear Tec Gauntlet Season 3, powered by Ballistix and Crucial, and our pro partners are none other than 656. Hey, we are back, and in a way, these two matches, they were a little bit of a letdown right off the get-go here, Floki. We expected a lot more from the side of Enigma, but we're just not able to deliver. So let's head on down over towards the map view screen and see exactly what the scorelines were for both of these maps. And considering map number 1, it was a landslide victory, pretty much, from Velocity. 11-1. 11-1, dude.
Yeah.
When it came down to the defensive side of Velocity. I understand they're a really strong team on Ascent. This is the core fundamental map, and if you master this map, then you can master other maps really easily as well. But Enigma faltering like this on the map picked by them, I don't know what went wrong for them. It felt like the gears just weren't turning for them whatsoever. They were making rookie mistakes constantly throughout the entire matchup.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like Enigma really knew what hit them at any point in the game. You know, they were just bewildered as to what's happening to them. I mean, they had a couple of good rounds here and there, at least on Breeze and early on, but then that one round where Vibor was able to clutch it out using the snake bites, I think it just threw them off guard so much that they just lost all their mental focus. And you know, nobody says it, but mentally that tilt set in. And you know, when no one addresses it, no one says anything about it. Sure, you know, you at least prevent you know, people from getting toxic, and you prevent people from you know, just airing out to their frustrations and possibly stressing out their teammates. But then again, if you don't say anything at all, it just lingers in the back of everyone's minds and affects your performance. And I feel like that kind of just was Enigma's downfall in both of these games. On the bright side, Breeze looked a lot more closely contested, at least for the first 4 or 5 rounds. It seemed like Velocity were going to have a rougher game than they did on Ascent. But then that one single round where I believe Antidote tried to stick the defuse and ended up going down, and Raw Fuel couldn't see it through either, really ended up costing them. I mean, I think it's just rounds like those that throw you off your game when, you know, you just manage to make some sort of a comeback, and then it's right back to square one.
It's one of those things that I would never really understand. When a team has so much momentum, you know on paper that they're really strong, just start falling apart when it comes down to the execution. And then you start questioning, is it actually because the pressure was getting to them? Are they not meshing together that well? Is it because that they're new, they're not able to understand what they want to do in general? But the thing is, it felt like Enigma, they were constantly doing roster shuffles and causing problems along those lines. I still remember that Universe was questioning the pickup of Astra by Antidote, and in a way, I do believe that that's gonna take a really long time to try and fit into, because Antidote as a player, we know him to be an incredible jet player, but here with 10 kills, 127 ACS, it was a far cry from what we'd expected from Enigma. We expected him to be an absolute star here in season number 3, start everything off with a bang, going up against Velocity. Even if they lost it on a 2-0, they would have been able to put up a much more of a better show. That's what we expected. But Velocity, just look at them. Deathmaker 23, Hellfighter with 21, Right to Ace with 15. Everyone was just tearing up the entire server here.
They most certainly were. I mean, Deathmaker, you really cannot, you know, take away anything from him. Both him and Raw Fuel, have been the Jets, and both of them have been on top of the server for both the maps, I believe. Except for Helef, he's been the one guy who's had a pretty great game today. Helef's just been on point. He's had such a good influence on this, Velocity Gaming team. And yeah, it's been pretty great, to be honest. The entire scoreboard tells you the story. You know, you can see 3 guys on the side of Velocity who've completely torn it apart, whereas on the other side of things, it's just, barely one of them has tried to make it work.
Let's head on down back over to the map view screen and talk a little bit more about map number 2. What went on there? So in Breeze, it was a little bit better. So it felt that Enigma, they were meshing together as a squad a little bit more, but going up against Velocity on Breeze, Breeze initially was a map where Enigma were pretty much untouchable. There's no other team that could beat them. They're the ones who mastered the map right at the very beginning. They're the ones who set the meta. And I still remember a lot of the plays that the old roster made together as a squad. It was really interesting. Initially, I thought that Cypher would be a really bad pick here, but Enigma broadened my horizons. They showed me that Cypher is a really strong pickup, and they were able to make a lot of things work. But now, here's the iteration of Enigma. It left a lot to be desired for. And in this way, Velocity, they were just able to clean them up, but it was a lot more difficult. Enigma, they had their roots on their side. They knew exactly what to expect, but it felt like the map of Breeze was being played much more textbook based. And if you want to play textbook against Velocity, it's just not going to be working out in your favor. Don't you agree, Floki?
Absolutely. I mean, Velocity, they're the ones who made the textbook, right? These guys have been on the upper echelon of Indian Valorant for the longest time. So if you try to throw their strats back at them, they're gonna know what to do. They're not gonna bite the bait. You can see that Velocity is the only team that, despite being in 4v4 situations, doesn't really feel the need to rotate. And yeah, that shot by Rafi was absolutely insane. So I kind of feel bad for him because he really played his heart out on both of these maps. He tried his best, but at the end of the day, there's only so much one man can do, right? I mean, you can have your breakout performances. You can be the star of your team, but hey, I mean, if you can only do it once every while, then the rest of your team needs to step up. I mean, Hellfighter was just punishing the side of Enigma so hard. There were a couple of times where he got outplayed, and yes, he did lose a couple of duels to RVK, but that's okay. For the majority of the game, Hellfighter just made sure that no one could really cross the map and make their way from the flank, and made sure that his team pretty much only had like 1 or 2 angles to worry about. And I think Enigma probably had to commit a few more resources to try and deal with Hellf, but in the end, they just let him have his game, and I feel like that's actually just sort of what made them fall apart. It's never the pushes by Velocity that are really amazing, but it's always their lurk who goes unchecked, and Hellfighter's always a notch above. I feel like in that regard, no one has ever really tried to contest him. It's always been these sorts of 1v1s. And I think if Hellfighter actually was contested as a lurk, we would see a much more different game. I mean, Enigma, they'd have a lot more map control to work with. They'd be holding on to a lot more pushes. And they'd have a lot of information to play with as well, right? Because when you take care of the enemy lurk, all of a sudden the map is opened up to you. You can occupy different positions, and you can cut the enemy team off. You can severely limit what they do on offense. And he just never saw Enigma even get to the point where they could try and attempt something like that. So, I mean, go figure, I mean, just how hard they need to try and work to take a game off of Velocity.
Just was not there. And I agree with the points that you made. Raw Fuel, he played his heart out. Just look at this guy. 20 kills, 290 ACS, econ of 104. And then you look down at the bottom sides, Hika with 11, Rexy with 10, RBK with 9, Antidote with 6. The thing is, we are saying a lot of this about Enigma because we expect them to do a lot more. Because honestly, Floki and Universe, like you guys know, on paper, this roster, they have achieved so much individually. All these players, they have achieved a lot. Rawfield's hitting nutty shots. Hika's an incredible player, flying all the way over to India to compete here. Rexy, RVK, Antidote, they're also incredible players on their own rights. We call RVK the Sheriff God for a reason. He is a one-tap machine for us in India. He can pull off incredible clutches on thrifty rounds just by himself with just his one singular weapon. They can do a lot, but it feels like Enigma, they're having a really hard time meshing together. And in a way, I do personally believe that this is a wake-up call for them. Going up against Velocity is the thing that they needed to get themselves into the groove once again and to understand that, hey, this is what we're shooting for. This is what we really do need to improve. And I'm really hoping that Enigma, they're going to be able to bounce back from that. So let's head on down over towards the group standings, ladies and gentlemen, see exactly what's it going to be looking like. The first initial game is going to be a little bit one-sided, but at the same time, it's kind of expected. We knew for a fact that Enigma, they're going to have a really rough time going up against Velocity. It's a new roster. They're trying to work out the kinks, but in a way, we expected just a little bit more. But Universe, it's your turn. Give us your last thoughts before we end things off for here as we head on down over to the second game.
I think that, like you said it, you know, Enigma, this was their wake-up call. They really need to understand how it is going to be against the biggest team, you know, in this group. Velocity won this tournament twice now. They're looking for a hat trick and no other way to try and, you know, make it a little bit more better for you to try and understand what mistakes you commit against the biggest, to try and, you know, perfect those mistakes, to try and, you know, not commit them again against the other teams that are there in the group. And yeah, Enigma really need to get up on their feet. I know that they've had a roster change. I know that it's been a little bit, you know, it gets difficult when you've got so many changes, so many new players come in and leave. You know, it takes time to settle in, but you need to settle in as you move forward. You just can't keep settling in and then move forward. It's about adapting. It's about improvisation. It's about overcoming the problems that you have. That's the only way they can move forward. And now they've got other opponents, Reckoning. They've got Salt Esports. They've got, you know, Only Friends. All of these teams are pretty cool in their own right. So it's gonna be really interesting.
Yeah, when you consider all of the plays that are being made, Enigma, it's fine. Just go back to the drawing board, try something a little bit better. Now that you know what you really do need to do on the server, it's going to be completely fine and dandy. That's why the gauntlet is there. That's why you have 7 games to play. You have a lot of chances to prove yourself. You have a lot of chances to bring yourself up to that level, to place where you really want to be, and hopefully push yourself forward onto the playoffs as well. That's going to be all for this game. So ladies and gentlemen, let's head on down over onto today's fixtures and see what we have in store for the 8 p.m. game. Because honestly, if you thought that game number 1 was a banger and one that was built upon the hype of Velocity versus Enigma, second game is going to be God Particles versus Team VALOR. And I'm really excited for this one. I have not seen the God Particle name in so long. I think I last saw this name back in the Challenger series. It's maybe even Series 2 and Series 3. It's been so long. It's been months. And in a way, to see this roster finally back to their roots, I'm excited to have these guys all together and to go up against the newly reformed Team VALOR. I think that God Particles, they're going to have a really, really strong fight right off the get-go. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, we already built up the hype for game number 2. Make sure you don't miss the 8 p.m. game. So if you don't want to miss it, make sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, and also hit that notification bell to do get notified when we do go live. Also, make sure to follow us on our socials on Instagram. All of the links are down below in the description. Get updated, get notified. Do not miss a single bit of information from the Esports Club. And as you are going to be down there as well, make sure to check out a couple of links in the description from Ballistix and Crucial if you want to get yourself an SSD, if you want to get yourself that overpowered RAM with the RGB that gives you even more extra FPS. We got you all covered. All the links down below. Make sure to check it all out, and also check out our apparel sponsors if you want to get a t-shirt for yourself so that you can support your teams. But for now, it's going to be your boy Aggressive, joined by Floki and Universe, signing on off. And we're going to be back with you at the 8 p.m. game for the LG Ultragear TC Gauntlet Season 3, powered by Ballistix and Crucial, and our apparel partners are none other than 6, 5, and 6.